Let me get my tablet, make sure the sound is okay. 1 second. This was just a spur of the moment thing, and I just wanted to share some of these images with y'all. 1 second. Okay, my So yes, this was a spur of the moment thing, family, and I just wanted to show these images of upper and lower Egyptians, right? And explain a few things because people like to muddy these waters and confuse you, right? And let me clarify something. As long as I've been debunking Black Egypt, Chief X has never, uh, Chief X has never been referring to color or skin tone or how much uh, um, the melanin pigmentation of people. This is an argument that Afrocentrics are using. Hey, what's up, almost? That Afrocentrics are using to muddy the water and to cloud things, right? So you'll hear them and people continuously saying they're dark-skinned people were here. What does that mean? What does it mean when someone says it's dark-skinned people there? Uh, uh, People are muddying the waters and acting like they don't know what a black person is. All of a sudden, when we talk about ancient Egypt, people don't know what a black person is. So they say there were dark people there. People don't know what a negroid is. Although the term is outdated, let's not play dumb. People are not going to bully me and make me stop using the term negroid. I like the term. It's specific. When I say negroid, you know who I'm talking about. What's up, Ricardo Robinson? Right? When I say black person, you know what I'm talking about. When Dr. Ben wrote his book back in the day called Black Man of the Nile, not one Afrocentric said, "Oh, I don't know what black is," or "What do you mean black? It's a social construct," and "Oh my God!" Oh, no one ever said any of that. So when you debunk Black Egypt, then all of a sudden they're confused of what black is. When prior to me debunking Black Egypt, no one was ever confused. We weren't playing these mind games to muddy the waters, right? So just to clarify, when people say dark, it's silly. When I'm speaking on when I'm debunking Black Egypt, I'm mainly talking about population genetics. That's what I'm talking about, right? And who our people are in a certain geographical area. I said there were never any indigenous Negroids that are indigenous to North Africa. 3 years later, no one has named this Negroid or black tribe that's indigenous to North Africa. 3 years later, failure, right? So if I go to Iran, there's some dark skinned Iranians, there are some lighter skinned Iranians. What's the big deal? Why are people playing these word games with you? instead of simply saying black or negroid like they've always said their entire life. I am a black American. Period. I'm a proud black man. I'm not confused on who I am, what my mama look like, what my daddy look like, what my cousins look like, what everybody in my family look like. My black family looks absolutely nothing like an upper or an lower Egyptian at all. I don't care if we have the same melanin pigment darkness. That's not what I'm talking about. That'll just confuse you. Upper and lower Egyptians today are not Negroid or not black folk. Black Americans are Negroid and black folk. We're clear on this. Would you say Ricardo Robinson was chief X when it comes to Black Egypt? Ankh has come full circle. But he plays the skin color game. He plays the mind game, talking about the experts have said Egypt is an indigenous African culture. That's a mind game statement. Because Ankh knows that when you say African, black Americans are going to think a nappy head Negro or black person. I'm listening to an old lecture by Ivan Van Sertima earlier this morning. And he continued to throw, these are African people, and these are Africans and Africans and Africans, because black Americans never ever, prior to me, distinguished um, um, North Africans from sub-Saharan Africans. So all black Americans know is when they hear the word African, they think about self. And we have to be clear. Africa's a diverse continent. And North Africans aren't Negroids or black people. So people have to be specific and say North Africans. You can't say somebody who built something, and let me look at my map. In Kazakhstan is on the continent of Asia. I can't speak of Kazakhstan, people, and just make a blanket term for all of Asia. Cambodians, Vietnamese people have nothing to do with Kazakhstan. I can't blend them all into one people. That would be disrespectful. It would be wrong. It would be me playing mind games and would be me muddying the waters. Would you say, Nico? Yeah. But people like Ankh, Smash Rockwell, and these people do not want to make these specific distinctions because they want to keep you confused. I give this example all the time. I say North Africa because it's a huge difference from Sub-Saharan Africa, West Africa, or Central Africa. It's just like if I say Southeast Asia, that is a specific geographical area, and everyone knows I'm probably talking about Cambodians or Vietnamese people. So if I say Southeast Asia, I'm being specific and clarifying of what exact people I'm speaking about. I don't want to confuse them with Iranians or Iraqis or people from Kazakhstan or someone from Dagestan. No, Dagestan is the Caucasus. So just saying African peoples, it's an indigenous African culture, means absolutely nothing. It's an indigenous North African culture. And why do I say use the term Mediterraneans? A people can be three things all at once. All three things can be correct. They can be Egyptian, they can be North African, and they can be Mediterranean people. People of the MENA region, Middle East, North Africa. It's a region called the MENA region, MENA. So you have to be specific and talk about the region. Then the Mediterranean basin, and that's their region. So they can be called Mediterranean. Why? Because the majority of people all through North Africa live closer to the Mediterranean Sea and not in the desert areas, right? They don't live all in the Sahara Desert. Now, there's some Saharan tribes, but they're far and few in between. So when people start saying dark peoples, check them. The majority of the world is melanated, right? It's already common sense. Like when I was in the Navy, I went to the Philippines. It's already common sense that people with melanin vary. There are light-skinned Filipinos and there are darker-skinned Filipinos. There are light-skinned Iranians and there are darker-skinned Iranians. There are lighter-skinned Cambodians and there are darker-skinned Cambodians. We know this. Why do we have to play this dark people game? You have light-skinned black Americans and you have pitch black skinned black Americans. It's common sense that skin pigmentation varies on a spectrum. Some light, some dark, some in between. It means nothing. The upper and lower Egyptians are not black people and are not Negroid and cannot hold any of them titles. I'm a black American. There's a thing called black Americans, people. So let me just get on down into it. And I just wanted to show some images. It's not much today, and um, it's not like a scholarly presentation. I'm just showing some images and the people of Egypt, whether lower Egyptians or upper Egyptians. Upper Egyptians are called Sahidi people. It's spelled like said I, but I guess you pronounce it Sahidi, right? Oh my God, Rashonda Hayward, how you doing, sis? Um, so let's do this. Okay, let's first clarify who are these upper Egyptians. We're going to talk about the show images of upper Egyptians first, also known as Saidi people. It's spelled like said I. Saidi people, right? Who are Saidi people? Is a person of or from Upper Egypt, meaning the southern part of Egypt. The word literally means from Sahid, an example, Upper Egypt, and can also refer to a form of music, blah, 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 right? So Saidi people are basically Upper Egyptians. So let's just go ahead and get into this presentation. Um, let's start with the Upper Egyptians. Afrocentric critique, Afrocentrism critique. This is his video he produced, and I just love the guy. He puts out some amazing videos, and let's go. Pause. These are simply melanated people, the same color as the reddish brown people you see on the walls. They're the exact same color. This is their history. Now, you see his face when compared to a white lady, a European lady. Stark difference. This guy is the same, has the same melanin content as I do, but he's not black or negroid. So I wouldn't confuse you saying dark skinned people. Yeah, you're talking about Egyptians, North Africans. She's a white woman. He is an North African, aka Egyptian. And these are the same exact people who were in ancient Egypt that they're living right now, today, in Egypt. They never went nowhere. Let's go. Somebody asked me a question in the chat. He said, "Are you saying those are the same people that were there prior to 639 AD?" Absolutely. The modern day Egyptians, I don't know how many times I got to say this, contain about 68% of the genetic composition of the ancient Egyptians. They are the same people. They never left or dispersed or went anywhere. They are there. They didn't sleep around with other races. They didn't sleep around with Romans and Greeks. They didn't sleep around like that. They were always to themselves. Hey, Judah, they don't come for me. They're scared to death of me. Oh, let me explain something to Judah Redemption. in the chat. Are you a black American or are you a Hebrew Israelite? I'm not sure. Let me know in the chat. Um, just so you know, not only were there never any black or Negroids indigenous to North Africa, there were never even any blacks or Negroids indigenous to Canaan, Israel, or the Near East or Levant. We come from sub Saharan Africa. I challenge any Hebrew Israelite to prove me otherwise also. You guys were never from that land. There were never any black people ever indigenous to those lands. Information Man Show, what's happening with you? I got to text you. Did I have, was this thing on pause? I may have made a mistake and walked away. My bad. Thanks for the super chat, Oak the Goat. I really appreciate it. Hey, Miss Hayward, Rashonda Hayward, please text me your address right now. I just packed it. Now pause. Now, if they did a stone carving of this guy on the right, in your mind, since it's not so detailed and it's stone and it's old, you're gonna think he's a black person. That's how your mind work. boxcar. It's exactly 76 in California. Not California, I'm sorry. Los Angeles. Merc boxcar. I was arguing with somebody over it. How hot it is in certain places in heat. And they're like, oh, well, white people couldn't have lived there because they couldn't have took the sun. And it's a bunch of bullshit, right? White people live and are moving to, in droves, Arizona, Las Vegas, Nevada. Arizona and Las Vegas is the desert, if people didn't know. If you Google what's the average temperature in Arizona and Las Vegas, it's the same or more and hotter than Egypt. And white folk been there forever. People got to stop that. Hey, I don't know if you follow MMA Astro 87, but Volkanovski got beat this weekend. I was rooting for him too. I don't know if you follow the sport, but Australian Volkanovski got beat in Abu Dhabi. Speaking of Abu Dhabi, now pause. I don't know. These people's noses, like if this little boy in the middle, if you carved him in stone, black Americans gonna think it's a black person because his nose is a little flat. Nope, we're not the only people with them kind of noses. If I carved that little girl on the left in stone, stone don't have no color. In stone, everyone would think she's a black woman, a black girl, just because her nose. Nope. Anything carved in stone will fool you. Hey, Information Man Show, I'll text you, but if you're still listening, you got to go to the UCLA Colorado game. I'm going to be there. Let's go. Oh, by the way, these are not Arabs. D-Red, the blue collar scholar. I'm crying laughing. I'm not sure what you're crying laughing about. Can you explain and make a mature comment? 70% still look black, you say, though, so I don't see and get the point. Family, you stop playing with yourself, bro. They do not look like black folk. None of these people look like my daddy, brother, sister, auntie, cousin, or any of that. Stop bullshitting. None of these people look like Wesley Snipes or Sarah Susan Seti or Prince. These do not look like black people. Stop playing. You must have missed the beginning when I was talking about melanin content and how it varies around the world. You just made that up because you're tricking your mind. None of these people look like Martin Luther King. None of them. None of these people is nappy headed. Let's be real. They don't look like nobody in your family. If they look like somebody in your family, then you're not a black American. Let's be real. If you're judging by melanin content, you fucking up. By your logic, Cambodians look like people in your family. Iranians look like people in your family. Cut the crap. These people do not look like George Clinton, Parliament, Funkadelic, the Whispers. They do not look like these people. Stop it. I said George Clinton and Bootsy and Parliament Funkadelic because I was watching a documentary on George Clinton and Funkadelic. Yeah, tell your dad since your dad love Parliament, ask your daddy, do Parliament members look like this? He gonna probably slap you and give you a whooping. Stop. Oh, hold on. We did see a black kid in the middle. Now that kid in the middle right here, I don't know if y'all can see my arrow. He is definitely a black kid. Probably a kid from the Nubian village, which is a little south of what would be considered where the Upper Egyptians are, the Sahidi people. You know. Yeah, explain that to him again, Dr. Banu, because people keep using this invasions excuse. No, they wasn't screwing. Like even the Cherokee in America, when they enslaved Africans, they had in their bylaws, if you are not to be sleeping with the slave. If so, you will be banished from the tribe. So it wasn't as much screwing and fucking between Native Americans and blacks as people think. The tribal chiefs didn't really play that shit. So Egyptians were the same way. They stuck to themselves. these I said these are Upper Egyptians, Sahidi people, right, of northern Africa, of Egypt, right? They're a little. Sometimes they may get teased, or sometimes people say that it's more rural area, a more rural area. Like when I went to Ghana, um, we went 4 hours inland, and we stayed in Kumasi, a more rural area, than areas of the coast in Ghana, right? So sometimes the people may be a little poor, more poor, or it's not as financially off. So Upper Egyptians, I don't think they're as they're a little more poor than Lower Egyptians, or what we would consider Northern Egyptians. Yep, same people, Judah. Let me give you an analogy. All of sub-Saharan Africa, Nigeria, Ghana, was invaded by the British, the Dutch, the Portuguese. But guess what? Them Ghanaians and Nigerians right there are the same people before the invasions. Nothing changed. You get what I'm saying? They are the same people all through sub-Saharan Africa, with all the invasions, all the European people coming. They are the same people. It's the same in Egypt. The same people. They don't disappear. None of that. Okay, can you hear me now? How long have I been muted? Okay, so what I was saying was, I hit the mute button. Um, yeah, okay, I'm good now. I think yeah, somebody saying yes, I'm good. Can y'all hear me now? Say yes or no. So what I was saying was, okay, cool. Um, Afrocentric. Every time I've posed this question to them, they totally ignore it. Totally ignore it and never bring it up. Ask an Afrocentric why are Egyptian women painted yellow and white, but you will never, ever, 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 ever see a Nubian woman painted white or yellow. Never. They're always pitch black or dark brown. That tells you right there who's who. Now, I have noticed, even though they're similar, I have noticed that the lower Egyptians, aka Northern Egyptians, why don't they just stop using lower? I mean, excuse me, upper and lower. Just say Northern and Southern. I hate that shit. But anyway, I do notice they're a little bit lighter in the north of Egypt. But not, it's not, I can't even really tell the difference in general. You'll never see Nubian women painted this color in Egypt. Never. Because they weren't Egyptian. Egypt, Darid says, D. Red, the blue collar scholar says, Egypt was a metropolitan nation with all kinds of people and phenotypes. I mean, phenotypes changes, but Egypt was never black. That's my point. Let's be specific. There were no black or Negroid Egyptians. Let's just be clear. You can say what you want, all they vary in skin color, but nope, your kind wasn't Egyptian, and they didn't look like you. It was not just no mix of a whole bunch of different type of people. They had some immigrants and people who moved there from other nations. They may have had some people in Nubia or other areas who went there to do some menial labor and shit like that and lived there. But the Egyptians was not black or Negroid ever. Judo Redemption, maybe we need to check out some of my other presentations. Although the Nile does run through other countries, in Egypt, the Nile didn't have cataracts until you get to Aswan. Cataracts makes it not navigable. Although there's a river, it wasn't always navigable throughout Nubia. There are five cataracts. The number one, first one is in Aswan, which is way down south. So the ancient Egyptians were able to flow the Nile up and down the Nile freely without any obstruction. Nubians couldn't do that. Darius, no, this is not a response to Smash Rockwell. Smash Rockwell don't want to deal with me. They avoid me at all cost. Okay, he's never ever tackled any presentation I've ever made, ever, because he don't want people to come over here and look. He refuses. I've had so many videos they won't address any of them. Now they may address one point. If I make 20 points, they may address one point, and then not even make bring up my name. So no, they won't address my shit ever. You'll never see Nubian women looking like this, ever, because they weren't Egyptian. Oh, by the way, this is them without all them damn wigs and headdresses. Like I was arguing with somebody the other day because I was showing cultural continuity and all these images, stuff, and they're plowing in fields and doing agriculture. And they say, "What are they doing?" No, I said, "Yeah, the Nubians have cattle and stuff like this, but they don't do the agriculture and plow the fields with these cows and using mules. It's a difference." Hey, D Red, the blue collar scholar, you can always drop a source in the comment section. There's a Nobody ever does. They just talk that shit in the chat. You can drop a source in the chat, and I can um copy and paste it. What kind of source you got? About what? I showed a lot of this in a previous video called cultural continuity. So what I'm gonna do is stop this video. I mean, we've seen enough images. Let's do this. This is what I like to do. Um, these are Sahara. These are not Egyptians, right? These are Sahara Berbers, the Tuareg, and the Sahari people, right? So we're talking about more people in the Maghreb, um, which we would say is what west of Egypt, all the way west of Egypt, all the way to Morocco. No, I'm sorry, I got it all twisted. I'm sorry. These are Sahara Berbers, the Tuareg, and the Sahari people. They're kind of in the what's the proper way to say it? Saharan North Africans. Um, they do a lot of desert dwelling. Now, let me. I done a presentation on the Tuareg 5 years ago. One of my favorite and most in-depth presentations I've ever done that most of y'all haven't seen because some of y'all are new to following me. But the Tuareg, and I juxtapose them. I said there's a white Berber and a black Berber, or white Moor and a black Moor, right? So the Tuareg, and I'm not saying white like white. I'm not saying white like Europeans. I'm just using those juxtaposing terms because the Tuareg were like gangsters of the desert, in my opinion, right? And the Tuareg took on sub-Saharan Africans as concubines and married them into the family. And them sub-Saharan African women had babies over hundreds of years. And those babies are mixed. They're mixed Berber and sub-Saharan African, right? So in the Tuareg tribe, a lot of black Americans think Tuaregs are black because they see a lot of the mixed children in the concubines who've been there for hundreds of years as concubines and produce children. So people get it confused. But their boss and the children have allegiance to their daddy, the white Moor or the white Tuareg. These are Tuaregs. These are like some old 1800s photos, late 1800 photos of the Tuareg. A different style than the Egyptians. These are the Tuaregs, the Saharan tribes. See, they have a different vibe and a different kind of look than the Egyptians. See, like this guy right here on the left, he's more than likely an offspring of a white and a black Moor. His mama was a sub-Saharan, and his dad was more than likely a Berber. lot of them look like they could be from India. They had just this different look, the Turag. So they had this what I call like they have this swarthy look. Yes, they have this swarthy look. Like a lot of the Turag, sometimes they have this similar look to people in India. Y'all have to have been studying this to understand what I'm saying. Pause, pause, pause. This is the picture on the top left is a picture I used as my thumbnail when I did my video 5 years ago on the Turag in Moors Exposed, and I did a deep and depth presentation on it. So I used this thumbnail because the black youth on the right is a servant. I did a whole the guy on the is servant, and the one on the left is like the boss or the master. These are Saharan Berbers or Tuareg. They dwell in desert areas. A lot of times they were the intermediary between North Africans and Sub-Saharan Africans in trade and in trade routes. Right? You fuck around in that desert in a trade route, you would get jacked or robbed by a Tuareg. I call them gangsters of the desert. I think I seen Sheffman make a comment in here. Where he at? Hey, Judah's redemption. We've passed the lower and upper Egyptian images. These are Saharan Berbers now. These are the Tuareg. This is not Egypt right here. There's no such thing as a Hawass model. Hawass knows exactly what he's talking about. He's an expert. He's the goddamn man. Afrocentrics the only people who hate Hawass. Hawass. Because he's not talking nothing about, he's not running your narrative. Hawass is an expert. Okay, I hear you. I hear you. I got you. Pause. Pause. Now, look in the back on the picture on the left. The top and the back, they definitely have some sub-Saharan. Somebody is definitely a concubine in this family. Bottom right is some concubine offspring up in there. Bottom right, definitely the offspring of a concubine. Top right, definitely the offspring of a concubine. One is half sub-Saharan and half Berber. I got a whole presentation on this. In 80% of a black Tuareg is a servant in the family. Hold on. Oops. Just want to show you. See the Moroccan flag on the left? I think that's the Moroccan flag. Yeah. Like this lady on the right, this would be a pure Berber Tuareg woman. That's the base phenotype of a desert dwelling Tuareg. Like the lady on the right. That's another image. like sometimes you can confuse a Turag. They look like somebody from India, but no, they just had that. They had that look. Even they can halfway. Some of them can halfway pass from look have a Dravidian look. It's just a style. It's not an Egyptian style right here. This is a desert dwelling Turag style. I'm gonna skip through it because I don't want to go through this whole 30 minutes of images. So I'm gonna skip through it. See, they fuck with that desert. Yeah, come through there, they'll roll up on you. Well, all right, all right, all right, all right, all right, all right, all right. What's happening, kinfolk? I'm just reading a few of the comments. What's up, Arcadia? What you say, Sapphire? Yeah, some of them can look Iranian too. Yeah, it's a Saharan gangster style. Yeah, they'll you come through the Sahara fucking around. Them two rag will roll up on you. Jack, you take your shit, everything. So, um, a lot of times, like I don't know if you guys know the former UFC heavyweight champion Francis Ngannou, who's fighting Fury this weekend. He's from Cameroon. So a lot of West Africans and Cameroonians, when they're trying to get to Europe, they gotta traverse through the Sahara Desert to get some freedom and get to Europe and get to these countries, and then sometimes eventually get to America, but mostly, more than likely, more so European nations, right? So they got to go through some parts of the Sahara in motor vehicles and barely make it in a motor vehicle. They'll get jacked, they'll get robbed by Turek. That's who be giving them problems. Yes, I just wanted to show some images today of some Upper and Lower Egyptians. I didn't mean to show the Turag, but I just wanted to go into showing some Turag and some desert dwellers also. Is that disrespectful to say desert dwellers? I don't mean to be. Right. And I always got to do this in case somebody just say, "Oh, Chief." Let me just put this link in the chat in case somebody wanted to come on and say something. But I'm about to get out of here and get me something to eat. I pinned it up top. You say my nan. That means your woman is a full-blooded Irish traveler. She looks like an Arab or Persian due to her dark skin. What you said, Katie? Looking? Am I looking great? You talking about me? Or you talking about my background? What's up, Acadia? I gotta get up out of here and mail Roshonda Hayward her little treat. Happy belated birthday, lady. Oh, your grandma, my nan, my grandma. Okay. They say nan in Ireland. You from Ireland? Yeah, I think you said you're from Ireland, Patrick Fitzgerald. You a Conor McGregor fan? Shael says so. Basically, Indian-looking people dominated everywhere on the planet. You must have missed the three-fourths of the presentation today. But since you said that, you did remind me of something. Falafel. That's falafel eating mother. Since you mentioned the planet, right? And I always, because you'll hear Afrocentric say we circumnavigated the globe and we were everywhere first. We're the first to do this. We're every we. If you really think about it, and just think about it, outside of sub-Saharan Africa and the rest of the world, black folk is only about 5% of the population. You're gonna find us in small amounts, Tasmania, Melanesia, Solomon Islands. I don't even consider these black people, but I know you guys do. So I'm just saying Solomon Islands, Melanesia, some Pacific Islanders, some in Fiji. These are small populations, though. I don't even want to mention the Jara or the Adamanese. They're only about 400 people left of them people. So maybe I'm gonna just throw two. 7 areas outside of sub-Saharan Africa that you're in. These are very small numbers compared to you're talking about all of China, all of Russia, all of India. I mean, like all we're in Brazil now because of the slave trade, but prior to that, we weren't never even in the whole Western Hemisphere. So, how can you be 5% of the population outside of sub-Saharan Africa and talking about you conquered the world? It makes no sense. You know what I'm saying? Taurus, like somebody Taurus said Madagascar, right? Now, Africans didn't even colonize Madagascar, and that's right next door. Europeans went to Madagascar and then brought Africans to Madagascar. It's crazy. So we're in very small numbers outside of sub-Saharan Africa prior to slave trade. Also, the reason why North Africans have more um, Neanderthal admixture is because they were ones going in and out, migrating and back migrating. Sub-Saharan Africans wasn't migrating and back migrating. So we have this a tense. of Neanderthal DNA because we weren't all out there in Asia and Europe fucking with the Neanderthal and admixing. What you say? You're what God lacked. Okay, I feel you. So what about Sudanese being? I'm not sure if you're talking to me or somebody in the chat. So excuse me. What do you think about Sudanese being the first Egyptians? I know it sounds like a reach, but they were the only other place in Africa with a written language after Egypt. Yeah. Well, they were neighbors of ancient Egypt. Ancient Egyptians influenced them. Um, so Kush dynasties with a K, Moradic script, came a couple thousand years later after hieroglyphs. So they were influenced by their Egyptian neighbors. Right. So from Dynasty One until the last dynasty, um, I forgot my point. They never came from Sudan. They were always the first dynasties started in Egypt and ended in Egypt. So a lot of times you'll hear Afrocentrics say they came from the South, but they never specific. What do you mean the South? Where in the South are you talking about? They're trying to allude to Sudan. That's what they're trying to do. But nope. Narmer was from Egypt, and he was an Egyptian. Narmer was not a Nubian or Sudanese. So I guess I'll find me something to eat. I gotta run to the post office and mail some people's stuff off. And oh, don't forget when you're on Smash Rockwell and them channel, ask them to address this question that they haven't wanted to address in 3 years. Why is the Egyptian women painted on the walls white and yellow, and never the Nubian women? Ask them that question. I'm out, y'all.